The second salawat, please recite for the eighth Imam, Imam Reza alayhi afdalu salatu was salam. And the last salawat with your loudest of voices for the health and reappearance of the Imam of our time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Would like to welcome all of you, each and every one of you, to Masjid Al-Nabi's celebration for the birth of Imam Reza alayhi salam. Inshallah, we have a very special night programmed for you guys with all the resources that we were able to put together, inshallah, and hopefully it is in the sha'n of the Imam of our time and also Imam Reza. Inshallah, the program tonight is pretty simple. Inshallah, we'll start with a quick Quran recitation by our dear brother Hassan al-Azmara, and then afterwards, inshallah, we'll have a English speech by our dear scholar, Hujjatul Islam al-Muslimin, Ahmad Modarres. And finally, inshallah, we'll end with some nasheeds by Hajj Ghazakiri Aziz. And after that, inshallah, we'll be at your service for sweets as well as dinner and everything that comes after that. So, just as a quick reminder for everybody, this is Masjid Al-Nabi, we do have programs on a weekly basis. The programs range from, du'as all the way to Salat al-Jum'ah, as well as our weekly program here. For those of you who would like to keep in touch with our mosque, you guys can go ahead and follow our Instagram channel, as well as subscribe to our mailing list. Please recite a loud salawat if you hear my voice. Inshallah, I won't take any more of your time. Please give all of your attention and silence as the Quran is being recited. As the Quran itself says that as it's being recited, please quiet down and also listen. Inshallah, we can follow the instructions of the Quran. Help me by inviting my dear brother Hajj Hassan al-Azmara to the stage with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك وخلق كل شيء فقدره تقديرا واتخذوا من دونه آلهة لا يخلقون فإذا قرأ القرآن فانصتوا واسمعوا لعلكم ترحمون. واتخذوا من دونه آلهة لا يخلقون شيئا وهم يخلقون ولا يملكون لأنفسهم ضرا ولا نفعا ولا يملكون موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا. لا يملكون موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا. وقال الذين كفروا إن هذا إلا إفك افتراه وعانه عليه قوم آخرون فقد جاءوا ظلما وزورا. وقالوا أساطير الأولين اكتتبها فهي تملى عليه بكرة وأصيلا. قل أنزله الذي يعلم السر في السماوات والأرض. قل أنزله الذي يعلم السر في السماوات والأرض إنه كان غفورا رحيما. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Ahsant, Jazakum Allah. For the health and well-being of our dear brother Hajj Hassan and Azmara, please recite a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, we won't take any more of your time. Again, we'd like to welcome every single one of you to the birth of Imam Reza celebration here at Masjid Al-Nabi. To all the newcomers, we'd like to welcome you. Inshallah, this is the first of many. And for all the old people, inshallah, you guys will welcome everybody with open arms. Please help me in inviting our dear Sheikh Ahmad Modarres to the podium with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. انشالله که به خاطر اینکه مشغول غذا خوردن بودین یا شیرینی خوردن جواب سلام ندادین. I hope the reason you didn't answer my salam was because your mouth was filled with sweet and fruits and all that. That was the reason. If that is the reason, just nod your head that I will count. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Let's inshallah start our, at least my speech, and before I start, send a salawat for all those volunteers who did this great work. They prepared this hall and decorated for tonight, and all the volunteers who make these celebrations possible, from those who help with the cleaning, those who recite, and those who also help with the Jazakallah khair, logistic and administration of the masjid. With a loud salawat, let's appreciate and thank all of them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المصدد أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين، سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: وسخر لكم الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the ziyarah of Imam Reza alayhi salam and his shafa'ah and intercession, and the intercession of his great grandfathers, especially Rasulullah, with another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam Reza alayhi salam, I would like to start with a short biography, just as a review and a reminder about the life and the history of the life of our 8th Imam. Imam Reza alayhi salam was born in the city of Medina in the house of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim alayhi salam, and his name was Ali. He was named Ali. His mother is Najma Khatun, Najma, which was a pious and virtuous lady who's not Arab, and she is originally from North Africa. So these images that we have, that they imagine Imam Reza alayhi salam as a Caucasian and very white person, these are imaginary drawings. It's not accurate and it's not true. He was born in the year 148 after Hijrah, and he became Imam at the age of 35. So for 35 years, he lived in the time of his imamat of his father, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. So he went through the imprisonment of his father, the torture, the suffering that Imam alayhi salam went through, until the shahadat and martyrdom of our seventh Imam at the age of 35. Imam Ali ibn Musa alayhi salam became the next leading Imam. Majority of Shias followed him because of the will and the advice of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi salam. And for 20 years, he was the Imam and the guide of God upon mankind. And he was 55 years old when he was poisoned by the trickery of Ma'mun, the son of Harun al-Rashid. Imam alayhi salam lived during 3 Abbasi caliphs. First Harun al-Rashid for 10 years. And then 5 years was Amin, Muhammad Amin, son of Harun. And then 5 years during the time of Ma'mun al-Rashid, which was the brother of Amin, which he killed his own brother to come to power. So 20 years of 3 tyrants, one worse than the other. And in the final 2 or 3 years of his life, so majority of the life of Imam Reza alayhi salam is actually in Medina, until in the year 201 after Hijrah, which he was 53 years old. He was forced to migrate and come all the way from Medina to Marw, which was the capital of the Ma'mun of the time. The Muslim territories at the time was expanded all the way from the Arabian Peninsula to Levant, to some areas North Africa, and from the east all the way to modern Pakistan, India. And because of that, Marw was kind of central for the government of this Abbasi ruler. And the excuse of Ma'mun was that we want Imam Reza alayhi salam to be my successor. He will be the ruler and the caliph after me, Wali Ahd, which means again the successor of the ruler. And Imam Reza alayhi salam left Medina without bringing anyone from his family. He just came on his own. To say that this is not somebody who came by his free will, rather it was forced to leave his own family behind. And also Ma'mun makes sure that Imam Reza alayhi salam on his way coming to Khurasan is not going to be visited by the Shias. So for example, they made sure they're not going to come to Kufa, which had a lot of Shias at the time. So they specifically chose a route that the Shias of Ahlul Bayt did not have access to the Imam. So eventually Imam ended up in Marw, which is the Khurasan. And after almost 1 or 2 years of resident in Marw, Imam alayhi salam was poisoned, in opinion, by some kind of fruit. Either it was pomegranate or grapes. And then Imam alayhi salam departed this dunya and was martyred. And forcefully they wanted to bury Imam Reza alayhi salam next to Harun al-Rashid. So their dad, which was a tyrant of the time, Ma'mun wanted Imam Reza alayhi salam to bury near him. So after the ziyarat of Imam Reza alayhi salam was built, of course, eventually the grave of Harun, that dictator, disappeared eventually. This is kind of a brief history of 55 years of the life of Imam Reza alayhi salam. What we do not, I think, know, it's that most of the life of Imam Reza alayhi salam was in Medina. So when they call Imam Reza Gharib al-Ghuraba, the one who was a stranger, the one who was stranded in a strange land, is because somebody who lived more than 50 years of his life in a place that he was born and raised, and now suddenly is being moved to a place that his family are not by his side, and he is constantly surveilled and is under watch. And he's not free to say whatever he wants to say, and he's not able to communicate with people properly. One of the tricks of Ma'mun was he wanted to somehow destroy and hurt the relationship of the Imam with people. So what he tried to do was he tried to undermine the status of Imam Reza alayhi salam. How he tried to do that, he would held up these debates between people of different school of thought and madhahib and sects, as well as people of other religions, to come and challenge Imam Reza alayhi salam's knowledge. A collection of those debates is in the book by Marhum al-Tabarsi. If you're familiar with Tabarsi, is a very well-known scholar. He has a book called Al-Ihtijaj, Argumentation, which are the collection of those debates of Imam Reza alayhi salam with different scholars, leaders, from atheists, materialists, to Christians, to peoples of Ahlul Sunnah, that Imam alayhi salam debated them. And after all those debates, one thing that they came to confess was that this man and his knowledge is not something that we can defeat. That's what this title was very prominent, that they call Imam Reza alayhi salam, Alima ala Muhammad salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. Alim means the one who is truly the knowledgeable of the family of the Prophet. And this because he proved over and over in many occasions his knowledge, his understanding, and being a faqih, a well-versed scholar in religion. And we have traditions from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam on different topics. From Imam Reza alayhi salam, we have ahadith and traditions regarding tafsir of Quran. We have in regards of debates and defending the status of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There's some ahadith and tradition about overall ethical advices and lessons. But what I want to talk about is a tradition that we have in many ahadith of many books and resources and references of tradition. So for example, we have this in Khisal Shaykh Saduq, in Amaliya, Shaykh Tusi, in Tuhaf al-Ughul. These are some of the hadith books. So this hadith is being repeated in multiple sources. Hadith, it's a bit lengthy. It's not that long. I'll go quickly through it. But before I go to that, I want to start with the ayah I recited. In lecture, first of all, please keep in mind, as a speaker, I have to consider every participant, every member of the audience. So my topic has to be something that majority of people can benefit from. Please keep that in mind. Because sometimes people have some great suggestions, topics, which could be good, but specifically for a certain type of audience. So in order to make sure that everybody benefit from, I believe, this approach of maybe a short understanding of the life of the Imam is not doing a lot of justice to what truly Imam alayhi salam went through in his lifetime, but this is an attempt. We're trying to get to know the Imam. And then also understanding how the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, it ties with Quran. It's very important. Because when you look at even the traditions of Imam Reza alayhi salam, Imam in the middle of the hadith, he referred to an ayah of Quran to make sure that everybody understand that the message of Ahlul Bayt, going back to the famous hadith of Thaqalain, right? The two weighty thing, Kitab Allah wa Itrati. That the family of the Rasulullah, Ahlul Bayt, they're not going to say something against Quran. They're not going to bring a message that is against Quran or contradicts the Quran. Is exactly following that structure and that principle. So for that reason, I start with an ayah. The ayah I recited at the beginning of my speech was from Surah Nahl. Surah Nahl is the bee. It's amazing. Just look at the names of the surahs and chapters of Quran. That's amazing. Again, people say we have to read Quran. I would say start just with reading the meaning of the chapters of Quran. The chapters of Quran, some of them are named after insects, bugs. We have this surah called Nahl, which means the bee. The final holy book and a scripture of God, one entire chapter is named the bee, that we don't even notice. The other one is Naml, and Naml, the ant, another insect that we don't pay attention. That if for somebody who wants to learn, everything in the universe is a ayah, is a sign, is a lesson. For somebody who don't pay attention in life, of course they're not going to pay attention to who Imam Reza alayhi salam is. Everything has a purpose. And somebody like Imam Reza alayhi salam, someone can recognize who he was and what his message is if you truly are looking to discover what's the meaning of being the Imam, the leader, the guide for humanity. So the ayah says, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. Allah says, He disposed the night and the day for you. So Allah is the one who created this alteration of day and night for mankind. وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ, also the sun, the moon. وَالنُّجُومُ مُسَخَّرَاتٌ بِأَمْرِهِ, and the stars are disposed by His command. So referring to the universe as we know it, at least the solar system, is talking about the day and night, the alteration of day and night is because of the rotation of the earth, is because of the sun. So Allah said this day and night, this moon and sun, and the stars, everything is disposed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. Then He says this at the end, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. Indeed, in the alteration of day and night, in the sun and the moon and the stars, and these are signs. What is a sign? You see a sign, it says something to you, it guides you. When you have directions on your GPS, there are signs that tells you this is where it takes you to a destination. Allah said, you see all these stars, you know those shiny stuff in the sky? You call them stars. You see the sun and the moon, all of these are signs. They're supposed to guide you to something. But not for everyone. It's like to put a GPS in front of an infant, they know nothing about it. They start touching it and they don't even know what it is about. So, لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. These are indeed signs in that for people who exercise their reason. They use their aql and intellect. That's the ayah. Surah Nahl verse 12 talks about the importance of using our aql. What is aql? Allama Tabatabai said aql is part of our nafs, is part of our self. It's called a nafs mudrik. Our nafs has layer. There's a layer of our existence, our self, that we like, let's say, lowly desires. Nafsa ammara. Nafsa ammaratun bisu. The one that says lie, cheat, do whatever you want to do. There's one layer of our existence which is very primitive, very animalistic. That's one layer of our nafs. Nafsa ammara. Then you have nafsa lawama. Then you have nafsa mutmanna. There are layers for it. One, he call it nafsa mudrik. It's part of our existence that it experiences understanding. When you realize something, when you figure out something, when you absorb something. So Allama Tabatabai said that's what aql is. Aql is that layer of our existence, our nafs, our self, that helps you to realize, to understand. You figure out things. Not the aql that we use in far associated with that. Because we call somebody who make a lot of money, oh, he's a aqil. Not necessarily, that's not the definition I'm talking about. Aql is something that helps you understand and realize you're not confused anymore. You understand why you're here, you understand what are you doing, what's the purpose of life, you figure out your existence. You don't have existential crisis anymore. You know who you are and what's the reason you exist. And that's why Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam said, Al-aql ma ubida bihi al-Rahman wa iktusiba bihi al-Janan. The true intellect and reason is the one that you find and discover God, the beneficent and merciful God. It helps you to realize that all this, the sun, the stars, and none of that, it exists out of nowhere. It makes no sense. How you don't believe in luck and chance, but suddenly it comes to the universe, you believe in chance and luck. Ma ubida bihi al-Rahman, that's one, you discover God. وَاكْتُسِبَ بِهِ الْجَنَانِ. Your intellect leads you to find salvation, heaven, paradise, eternal happiness. In other words, to make a discovery of what soul is. Because this body is going to, eventually, sooner or later, we have to leave it behind. So your intellect, it tells you, make a good investment for your soul. وَاكْتُسِبَ بِهِ الْجَنَانِ. So Imam al-Islam builds on these ayat. The word aql is being used around 49 times in Quran. Majority of them are rhetorical questions. Allah said, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ? Would you not use your reason? Would you not use your intellect? Why you don't? أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ? Why you're not using it? In some ayat, it used the word, again, aql itself. Na'qil. For example, we have in the Day of Judgment, some of the people who are condemned and they're in hell. They say, لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. If we would have listened to the prophets, to those who shared the guidance with us, or we would have used our aql. أو نعقل. We would have used our reason, our intellect. ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. We would not end up in hell. So the reason we're in hell is because either we did not listen to the prophets and those who guide and those who wanted to share the message, or we didn't use our intellect. We didn't use our reason. Imam Reza builds on this topic. He said that somebody's reason and intellect will not be complete. So this part of ourself, we need to enable it. We need to activate it. I give you an example. Some young people, they come to me and ask questions about marriage. So I want to marry this person. So okay, good for you. Let's talk about it. Let's see how compatible you are. We talk about it and it turns out they're not compatible at all. In reality, they have nothing in common. And that person admits that yes, we have nothing in common. So okay, what are you going to do? We love each other. We love each other. So good, I respect love. But my question is, what are you going to do with all the other pieces that you did not resolve? She wants to live that way, you want to live this way. How this is going to work out? That person they call, there's a terminology and idiom in English. What is it? Love is blind. Love is blind. It means that when you're in love, you don't see anymore. You don't see the reality. You ignore all the numbers, all the reality, I don't care. Why is that? Because aql is disabled. At that moment, our intellect, it doesn't work. Why? Because we let our emotions take over. Emotions, you care, you get attracted, you like. It's like kids who cry and they want something. They don't care about anything. They will throw a tantrum until they get it. How many of you had a child dragging themselves in the floor of a store because they want something? You never had that? Why is that? They want something. There is no reason with that child. Please, I'll buy it for you later. Please don't make a scene. They don't care. They make all scene that they want to. That person's become a 30 years old who wants to get married and they throw a tantrum too. They're the same. I want this person. Said, but you have nothing in common. It's clear that you're taking a huge risk. I don't care. Love is blind. That's why aql has to be activated, has to be enabled, has to be empowered. Aql is there, but there are a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of block between aql and understanding, to realize something, to see the truth. Imam Reza alayhi salam said, in order to activate, enable, and make your aql complete, your intellect actually functional, a reason and intellect that actually works, you need to do certain things. This is the hadith of the Imam. Until I get some water, let's recite aloud salawat. So hadith is this. I go quickly through the hadith. لا يتم عقل امرئ مسلم. The aql of a Muslim, of a believer, will not be perfected, will not be truly functional. Because you have a machine, you need all the pieces in order for the machine to work well. So we need our aql to have all the pieces. So Imam Reza alayhi salam, this is the tafsir of the ayah of the word aql by Imam Reza alayhi salam. Said if you want your aql to be empowered, enabled, activated, you need certain qualities, habits in your life. That's what makes your aql functional. It works. Otherwise, you disable it. You turn it off. There are people that their eyes is open, but the brain is off. Like some people I see right now, inshallah, you understand what I'm talking about, right? Alhamdulillah. So hadith said, what are those merits and qualities? The first Imam said, Al-khayru minhum ma'amul. The first thing is the person that you have to have hope that they do something good. That you expect them to be good. Al-khayru minhum ma'amul. That is a person that enable their intellect. And we can be those type of people that wherever we go, as if a shadow walked in. There's no khair. Your shadow, doesn't matter. They go, leave, nothing. No impact, no good, no change, nothing. They come and leave, nothing. Al-khayru minhum ma'amul. Somebody who's truly intellectual, that they make an impact. They make good. They do something good. Imam Reza is an example of that. We have that Ma'mun once told Imam Reza to assign some deputies in the city. And Imam told him, I told you, I accepted your walayat ahdi to be your successor. You forced me into it. But my condition was I will not make any decision. I don't want to be involved in any of your decisions. Because he wanted a partner in crime. He wanted to say, I didn't, he did it with me. So Imam said, I will not do it. And then he insisted. And then Imam Reza told him, said, why are you insisting? When you dragged me all the way from Medina, when I was in Medina, I used to help people. I used to benefit people in Medina. That's how Imam Reza remembers his city and his town. That he was someone that was able to do good for others. Not as, oh, where is my town? A place that I can do whatever I like. No. I love Medina because I was a source of good in Medina. Whoever had problem, they would come to me. When Imam Reza was in Marv, in Khurasan, he wrote a letter to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. By the way, according to Shaykh Mufid, many scholars, Imam Reza alayhi salam only had one child, and that was Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, Muhammad al-Taqi al-Jawad. And he was in Medina at the time. So Imam wrote a letter to his son and said, my son, they informed me that some of the servants in our house, they make you leave the back door of the house in order for people who are, asking for help, for money, for donation, don't bother you. So what happened in Medina? This is the house of Imam Reza, this is the house of Bani Hashim, this is the house of Ahlul Bayt. Whenever you have trouble, anybody, we know, go to this house. So some of these servants, they made Imam Jawad, which was a young person, at that time a teenager, to leave from the back door. So all these people don't come and say, give me something, give me something. Imam Reza wrote a letter to him, said, my son, I put you under oath by my life's sake. So qasam, for my sake, from now on, leave from the front door. And take with you something to share with people. Don't let anyone leave empty-handed. This is Imam Reza caring about helping people from Marv in Medina. This is who the guidance and the guide and the Imam is. That somebody, their intellect is enabled. Somebody that khair is expected from them, good is expected from them. If God forbid is somebody that we don't expect any khair from them, the aql is not there. The intellect is not there. They could make all the money in the universe, I don't care. They're not aqil according to the Quran. If you don't expect any good from them. The second one is وَالشَّرُّ مِنْهُمْ مَأْمُونَ. The second part of that intellect is that you feel safe and secure from any harm from them. So you expect good from them and you don't expect any harm from them. That's the second one. Because some people, they don't do any khair and you have to just watch your back around them. They're a ticking bomb. Subhanallah, and I said the word ticking bomb. Inshallah is khair. But what I mean is that when you're around them, you have to watch yourself. They lose their temper and they go at you. They start screaming and shouting and cursing. That you don't feel safe around them. Imam said such a person is not aqil if people don't feel safe around them. That's why as a Muslim, we say we start with salam, right? This salam means peace be upon you, which means feel safe around me. I have no harm for you. You should feel safe with me. That's why we initiate with salam. يستكثر قليل الخير من غيره. Consider the little good that you get from others significant. That's the true aqil. Somebody who other people's service and work is a big deal. Ayatollah Bahjat, may Allah bless his soul, whenever Hawza and Qum was closed, there are seasons that, for example, they go for tabligh. He loved to come to Mashhad. And he would go to the ziyarat of Imam alayhi salam. But of course, because he used to live in Qum, they would rent a place, rent a house for them while they were in Mashhad. Not a hotel or motel, just a house. And we have that, these are the son of the Ayatollah Bahjat, and his student would say that every time Ayatollah Bahjat would come, every year he would rent a new place, a new house, because that person necessarily doesn't have the house just ready for one, renter every year. So we end up going to different houses every year, whatever was available. But Ayatollah Bahjat would ask us to go and check on those owners of those houses that they used to rent their house to us, that how are they doing? Check on them. And we would tell them, Haj Agha, we rented them, once, and we paid their money. Why should we check with them? And he would say, they served us that year. They helped us that year. They did khidmat to us that year. I want to be grateful for what they've done for the rest of my life. The small amount of good of others is a big deal. يَسْتَكْثِرُ قَلِيلَ الْخَيْرِ مِنْ غَيْرِهِ. Whatever is small from others when it comes to you is a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal, you give me a cup of tea. Or it's a big deal, you give me water. This finds its way. Even I see family members. Oh, it's a big deal, you cooked a dinner. You want me to give you a cup or a medal? You went to your job and you made money. You're the father of the house. You're the husband. This attitude of being ungrateful for the work, even if it has come from lack of aql. But the aql, according to Quran, is someone who is grateful, even for small things. And then the other one is the opposite of that. وَيَسْتَقِلُّ كَثِيرَ الْخَيْرِ مِنْ نَفْسِهِ. But she considers that a lot of good that she or he has done insignificant, small. If others do, it's a big deal. If I did, it's nothing. Why? Because what destroys good deeds is what? لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن. What destroys good deeds and charity is minnat. Remember? I did it. I was the one who saved you. Doesn't matter how helpful you were. The moment you say it, it's gone. It's gone. It hurts, and that person has respect for you as long as you don't say it. The moment you say it, it's gone. Your honor, because you did it to one day to throw it back on my face. So that's why we have in tradition, as a father, never put minnat on your family that you provide for them. So as a father, Islamically, nafaqa, the expenses of the house, is on the father, as a husband, right? Islam says, yes, it's on you. The family have to be grateful, but never say, I do this all for you. Never say it. The mother is a good idea for mother to say it. It's better to, it is a Farsi poetry. It says sometimes some word of wisdom is better to come from somebody else's mouth. خوش همان باشد که سر دلبران گفته آید در حدیث دیگران. I love that Farsi speakers love the Farsi part. They just start engaging quickly. But the point is that mother, if they say, again, look at your dad, he's working. That's very different from the father said, look, I just came back from work and I've been doing all this for you. It doesn't have a positive impact. It doesn't make anything better. It doesn't. So don't consider the good that you do a lot. Consider it is not enough. There's more inshallah, but I want to wrap it up because there's alhamdulillah anashid and mawlid. just the list is that لا يسأم من طلب الحوائج إليه. They don't get tired and frustrated when people ask them for help. Somebody who's a smart and aqil, a wise person, an intellectual person doesn't get tired if he is, people need him. They don't get frustrated. It's a blessing. ولا يمل من طلب العلم طول الدهر. From the sign of an intellectual is that they don't abandon seeking knowledge an entire lifetime. They never give up. They always, seek opportunity to learn knowledge. No graduation for a person who is aqil. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the tawfiq of practicing, implementation, exercising the teachings of the Quran to empower, enable, and activate our aql, our intellect and reason, in order, inshallah, that aql can lead us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and can help us to find success and salvation, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's remember all marhumin, and also for all those who are marid and ill, and those who request dua. Surah Fatiha with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
We thank Haj Agha Modarres for his beautiful speech and advice that he gives us on a weekly basis, inshallah. For the health and well-being of himself and his family, please recite another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Beautiful. So inshallah, the next part of the program, we're going to make some noise. We're going to inshallah celebrate. We invite all of you to please clap along, make some noise, and help me by inviting our, inshallah, our reciter with a loud salawat, Haj Agha Zakiri.
سلام علیکم و رحمت الله. من تشکر میکنم برای من حاج آقا نیستم هنوز، ولی انشالله حالا قسمت بشه. بزرگوارید، ممنونم. عرض سلام و ادب و احترام دارم خدمت همه عزیزان. انشالله که اگه مقداری سکوت هم حاکم بشه تا اینجا، یه مقداری از تلاوت قرآن که ما متاسفانه امید داشتیم، یه مقداری خواهران برادران یه مقداری توجه کنن که متاسفانه نشد. حالا دیگه عرایض بنده فکر نمی‌کنم، ولی خب خوشبختانه صحبت حاج آقا رو خیلی دقیق گوش کردید. انشالله که سلامت باشید. من اول به نوبه خودم از عزیزانی که واقعا همیشه لطف میکنن و زحمت میکشن و توی اکثر مجالس و مناسبت ها واقعا از صمیم قلبشون زحمت میکشن و آماده میکنند، مهیا میکنند همه وسایل رو تا بشه یک برنامه خیلی خوبی ارائه بشه. چه عزیزانی که شما به قول معروف در روی سن میبینید، جلوی تصویر هستن، و عزیزانی که واقعا زحمت میکشن و ما اصلا نمیبینیمشون و نمیدونیم و تمام این زحمات رو میکشن. برای سلامتی همین عزیزان یه صلوات بلندی هدیه بفرمایید. میلاد سراسر سعادت، هشتمین اختر تابناک آسمان امامت و ولایت، قریب الغربا، شمس الضحی، بدر الدجا، آقا علی ابن موسی رضا علیه السلام رو خدمت همه شما عزیزان تبریک و تهنیت عرض میکنم. انشاءالله هر حاجتی دارید همه عزیزان امشب تو این شب عزیز همگی حاجت روا بشید و از آقا امام زمان علیه السلام هم درخواست میکنیم انشاءالله توفیق زیارت بارگاه ملکوتی آقا علی ابن موسی رضا رو هم نصیب همه ما و بنده حقیر که سالهاست که سعادت نداشتم انشاءالله توفیق زیارتشون رو نصیب ما کنه. اجماعاً صلوات. من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفته با رضا. عزیزان تجسم کنید که الان تو صحن و سرای آقا علی ابن موسی رضا علیه السلام هستید و دارید زمزمه میکنید و امیدوارم که همه به این اشعار گوش بدید و من که سالیان سال این اشعار رو شنیدم و واقعا اشعار زیبایی هست و دل آدم رو میشکونه واقعا. من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفته با رضا میشنوم ز قدسیان زمزمه رضا رضا میشنوم ز قدسیان زمزمه رضا. من که کبوتر دلم من که کبوتر دلم همه انس گرفته با رضا میشنوم ز قدسیان زمزمه رضا رضا زمزمه رضا میشنوم احسن زمزمه. ای به نثار مقدمت گوهر اشک دیدم، ای به فدای جان تو جان به لب رسیدم، من به بهای هستیم مهر تو را خریدم، نیست به جز ولای تو مشی و مرا معیدم، مباد سازد از درد خدا مرا جدا رضا، من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفت جانم، میشنوم زمزمه جانم، همه زمزمه کنید، میشنوم من که به بوی مغفرت به بارگاهت آمدم، من که به بوی مغفرت به بارگاهت آمدم، شبی که سر زد از افق جمال ماهت آمدم، پناه ما سوا تویی که در پناهت آمدم، نیازمندم و گدا بر سر راهت آمدم، اگر ز در برانیم کجا روم کجا رضا، من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفته با میشنوم زمزمه میشنوم به پیشگاه قدس تو اگر چه دست خالیم، اگر کسی نمیخورد غم شکست بالیم، اگرچه اشک من بود گواه خسته حالیم، ولی به جان فاطمه محبم و موالیم، خوشم که دارم از جهان ولایت تو را رضا، من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفت میشنوم جانم میشنوم من که کبوتر دلم انس گرفته با رضا، میشنوم ز قدسیان زمزمه رضا رضا. اجماعاً صلوات. دست مرتبم بزنید به افتخار خودتون. دوست دارم نگات کنم تو هم منو نگاه کنی، دوست دارم نگات کنم تو هم منو نگاه کنی، من تو رو صدا کنم تو هم منو صدا کنی، من تو رو صدا کنم تو هم منو صدا کنی، قربون صفات برم از راه دوری اومدم، قربون صفات برم از راه دوری اومدم، جای دوری نمیره اگه به من نگاه کنی، جای دوری نمیره اگه به من نگاه کنی، رضا 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 دل من زندونیه تویی که تنها میتونی دل من زندونیه تویی که تنها میتونی قفسو وا کنی و قفسو وا کنی و پرنده رو رها کنی قفسو وا کنی و قفسو وا کنی و پرنده رو رها کنی میشه کنج حرمت گوشه قلب من باشه میشه کنج حرمت گوشه قلب من باشه میشه قلب منو مثل گنبد طلا کنی رضا رضا همه رضا 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 همه رضا رضا از ته دل صداش کن رضا 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 تو غریبی یا منم غریبم اما چی میشه تو غریبی یا منم غریبم اما چی میشه این دل غریبه رو این دل غریبه رو این دل غریبه رو با خودت آشنا کنی دوست دارم تو ایوون مقصوره از صبح تا غروب دستا یادتون نره دوست دارم تو ایوون مقصوره از صبح تا غروب من با تو صفا کنم من با تو صفا کنم تو هم منو دعا کنی دلمو گره زدم دارم میرم دلمو گره زدم به پنجرت دارم میرم دوست دارم تا من میام دوست دارم تا من میام زود گره هامو وا کنی دوست دارم تا من میام دوست دارم تا من میام زود گره هامو وا کنی رضا 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 حسرت زیارت جد تو مونده بر دلم حسرت زیارت جد تو مونده بر دلم چی میشه اگه منو چی میشه اگه منو راهی کربلا کنی رضا 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 دست بزنید آمدم ای شاه پناهم بده آمدم ای شاه پناهم بده خط امانی ز گناه بده ای حرمت ملجأ درماندگان دور هم بده رضا جان، لایق وصل تو که من نیستم، لایق وصل تو که من نیستم، اذن به یک لحظه نگاهم بده رضا جان. ای گل بی خار گلستان عشق، قرب مکانی چون گناهم بده رضا جان. ای که عطا بخش همه عالمی، ای که عطا بخش همه عالمی، جمله حاجات مرا هم بده، جمله حاجات ما را هم بده. اجماعاً صلوات. کف مرتبم به افتخار خودتون بزنید.
احسن. طيب اللهم صل على محمد. Inshallah, we will conclude and wrap it up. Everybody stand up. We finish with the ziyarah, inshallah. Everybody face qibla. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، يا نبي الله، يا خير خلق الله، يا النبيين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا إمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا بضعة الطاهرة يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليكم أيها الحسن والحسين سبطي نبي الرحمة وسيدي شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين. السلام على علي بن الحسين زين العابدين. السلام على محمد بن علي باغر علم النبيين. السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق. السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم. السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا المرتضى. السلام على محمد بن علي التقي الجواد. السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي النقي. السلام على حسن بن علي العسكري الزكي. السلام على الحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك، صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت